this is Thoughts Like Rabbits. We're here to talk about Kallus. Agent Kallus. And how he is the son of Satine and Kenobi. I mean, yeah, we're very late with this theory. It's like, we hadn't made our channel yet when this had come out, so better late than never. So, in Star Wars Rebels, Kallus is the main antagonist for, like, the first season, and, like, partway through the second season. Then he ends up in a cave with Zeb and ends up joining the Rebels later on. They did really, really well with him in Season 3. Just made him more awesome, and we noticed that they actually had little hints of who he was underneath in in Season 1. It's like nobody really noticed. They were just really subtle. He wouldn't have put his hand on Ezra's shoulder to comfort him, but decided against it because, well, he's an Imperial. If he was caught comforting a little rebel, then he would have been seen as a traitor. I mean, and then in Season 4, they finally have him in their hand. He is among the rebels. He is one of them, and they do nothing with him. It's like, you have control. You are now in charge. You two are now. You and Rex are now in charge of the Ghost. Don't break her. Then when he shows up, then the next time you see him, he's with Rex and the other two clones, and it's like, shouldn't there be a story there? What was Kallus doing this whole time? I mean, if not direct, could have been just a filler episode. Even if it was a filler episode, it still would have moved the plot along for like the rest of the war. And kind of explain, what has Kallus been up to this whole time? And it's like, arguing with the clones after picking them up. Just like a fun episode where it's just like, stop talking. Stop talking. Kallus's interactions with the clones, which would have been really cool. I mean, he was seriously underutilized in the Season 4. It's like, now we got him now! What do we do with him? That's it! Anyway, that's my complaints for Season 4. The points we wanted to make about why we think that Kallus is the son of Satine and Kenobi is actually several reasons. His biology in comparison to the two of theirs. I want to discuss how he could be the son of Satine and Kenobi, how that would have worked, and what difference would that have made in Star Wars Rebels, or in the entirety of the Star Wars franchise. She'll go on about the biology. Yes, their jaws wouldn't really be the first thing to point out. Because Kallus has a round, thin, square jaw. Which is pretty common for very big, muscular guys. He's got a thick, stocky build, but that's partly because of his what training he's done. Mm-hmm. Satine and Kenobi, they both have angular jaws, but Kenobi's is a little more rounded. It's a little harder to tell because he has like a beard the whole time. Yeah, they have to find a picture where it's completely shaved off. Yeah, I'm gonna find that. Satine's is easy. She doesn't have a beard. Funny if she did, but it'd be horrible too. Sticking beards are random girls. For those of us that don't use metrics, both Satine and Kenobi are very tall. Kenobi at 6 foot and Satine at 5'11" inches. Kallus is 6'3". I mean, yeah, there's tall genes from both of, and if you got tall genes from both of them, it would make sense. Plus, there's the fact that Kallus is a dirty blonde, which you could actually get if your dad's kind of a very light brunette, and your mom's like a very light blonde. Yeah, you can get something like that.
Yeah. They'd have full cheeks, just like his father.
Kenobi and Kallus both have very full cheeks. Very muscly cheeks. Muscly. He has similar eyebrows. I mean, it's a little harder to tell because the animation is so different between the two shows. But if
you turn one into the other,
you still kind of work with that.
You still work with that.
All three of them have their earlobes connect to their
head, which is a recessive gene that both parents have to give it to their kid, and it's pretty pronounced in both of them.
He's even got a nose that's kind of somewhere in between, and our noses are kind of somewhere in between our parents. So
yeah,
that makes a lot of sense too.
Both Satine and Kenobi have thin lips, and so does Kallus. Noticeable thing with the genetic line of Satine's family is that golden brown, honey gold eyes
is actually really common
in her genetic line,
despite it being a very recessive gene. Another thing is, Kallus is from Coruscant, but I don't think that's where he's originally from, because on Coruscant, the majority of people born there, the majority of people have dark hair, because, I mean, the only blondes you really, the only in the Clone Wars, what you see is on Coruscant, the majority of people have black hair, whereas on Mandalore, the majority is blonde. Up until Rebels, where they changed that to kind of, if everybody in Mandalore has much darker hair, and it's like, why? They already established in the Clone Wars that pretty much everybody on Mandalore is blonde.
Most of blonde is a very common color on Coruscant. Mandalore.
What I think is likely to have happened is, well, and that actually. Then there's Kallus's age. Kenobi and Satine, their only romantic interaction that would have preceded a child
happened in the comics when they were very young, when they were teenagers.
Specifically, almost a year before Phantom Menace. And Kallus was born during the Phantom Menace. So that really does, Kallus's age really does line up really well with this theory. He's the only one that really fits the description of, if the two of them had kids, what would he look like? And I'm wondering if that's kind of subconsciously something that Dave Filoni was going for, even though he may not realize it. Now we lead into the backstory of what could have...
But during the scene where, when you first meet Kallus in season 4, if you actually look at his face and kind of just block it out a little bit, just stare mostly at his hair, it looks like Satine.
Yes, it's
like, he gets his hair from his mother.
Very full and fluffy.
Then there's a scene in season 1 where Kallus falls off the back of a vehicle. Thing is, the way he fell, he would have just landed straight on the road had he not had any force powers. It's likely he does have a little bit, but it's not very strong.
Not necessarily. It could just be the Force knows where his story's going. So it's just like,
yeah,
okay, you're not done yet. Get back up there. Either one. But I think it's more likely that the Force is just trying to keep him there, alive. Doing everything it can to keep him alive, because it's like, you have a destiny! Destiny! Yeah, now the backstory. What could have possibly happened? what I was thinking was, after after Kenobi leaves with his master, Satine finds out that she's pregnant,
and doesn't want anyone to know.
But her family would find out, and she would realize that it's not safe. Not only would it hurt Kenobi's chances of becoming a Jedi Knight, but for her, the child itself would be in danger. As soon as the baby's born, the Night Watch would be after it and like trying to take it away,
training to be an assassin or threaten the royal family.
Yeah.
So keeping the baby in hiding, her going to another planet, kind of raising the baby there for a while, just all in secret, keeping like one guard to help her with studies.
And then that guard, not only having been sworn to secrecy, but like maybe through an altruistic sense of a duty to protect the weak, he rescues a lady being attacked by a gang or something, and ends up dying. That's what I wrote in one of my fanfics.
You have to read the fanfic.
I can post it down. Oh, I can post it in the description. Oh, you find it in the description.
Yeah, drops him off on Coruscant, hoping that...
I mean, it's possible she doesn't even know if the baby was still alive. Because she never heard back from... because she would never hear back from the guy. With, like, the plan being when he comes of age to bring him home. So that he's less likely to be influenced by Night Watch.
But being labeled an orphan, he would have been tossed into an orphanage on Coruscant.
Which actually could bleed into why Kallus is so insecure about is so desires approval from an authority figure so much, because he's trying to look for a parent. The Empire, he wants the Empire to be his family. He wants to feel connected to somebody. And that gets torn away which actually makes it more tragic. In the episode where he ends up in the cave with Zeb, because what they show at the end, the honorable ones, what they show is Kallus means nothing to them. And if you're an orphan looking for approval, I mean, another way you can see this is how much he connects to Admiral Yularen.
Who accepted him kind of on the spot.
He's just like, my favorite student. Kallus like, I'm betraying you. I'm about to betray you. You make me feel
You
bad.
almost didn't want to betray the Emperor just because of Yularen.
No.
Well, you didn't want to betray Yularen.
But Yularen, after he found out, he was like surprised that Kallus is the one who would do that, but also it didn't seem like a problem to him. He didn't act like it was a big deal.
Kallus is betraying the Empire.
I think Yularen is aware of just how bad the Empire is, but doesn't really know what to do about it. Yeah, and then how would this information connect to Satine and Kenobi? I mean, Satine was a pacifist. A pacifist in the full sense of the word. And then you get Kenobi, who's a knight, who's a Jedi Knight, and is like... And Kallus is a full-blown soldier.
Yeah, and when he was adopted by the rebels,
he finally found acceptance.
Yeah.
It's just so beautiful. You can comment below. Please comment below how you think it would have changed Kallus' story if he had been the son of Satine and Kenobi. How would it fit? Also, comment your theories and whatnot that may not have been explored by other people. We'd like to read what you guys have to say. Please. And don't be rude. We beg you, don't be rude. Minimum of foul language, if any. Or keep the foul language to a minimum if you have any. Bye. Bye.